What is going on, guys? Mr. Zink here. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be recapping the three trades I had in the day, those being $303 profit, $52 profit, and $106 profit. I'm going to walk you guys through why I entered where I did, how I got the bias that I did, and pretty much how my entire trading day went. The first thing that I always do is I go over to QQQ on TradingView. As most of you know, this is where I do my charting, and then I do the trading on Project X. For QQQ, I always start the day with charting the previous day's 50. So we have our previous day's high at 10:15. We have our previous day's low pretty much at 8 p.m. close. Drag that out to the right. And then we have our London 50. Our London low was at 6 a.m. and our London high was at 8:45. That is our London 50 and previous day's 50. That is what I use for entries. I love having entries at the London 50 and previous day's 50, London high, London low, previous day's low, previous day's high. Those help a little bit. The next thing that I did was I noticed that we are within the previous day's range. Previous day's range, our high was at 627.07 and our low was at 615.08. Excuse me, our high was at 626.95. The low was at 615.08. Going over to Edgeful, because they have a report for inside bars, pull up Qs, go to the inside bar report, and note that we have a 74% chance of breaking out of the previous day's range. We only have a 26% chance of staying within that range. Knowing the stat, I'm automatically targeting either the upside or the downside for the day. What I went into the day with was pretty much no bias. We opened flat, we had no upside bias, no downside bias. What I wanted to do was see if we got either a previous day's 50 or London 50 retest. The first one that we got was the London 50. I entered a 3MNQ long there. That is going to be this first trade here at 25,503. Previous day's 50 lined up pretty much at 25,700. London 50 pretty much lined up at 25,500. So I entered with about a $200 stop loss. On 3MNQ comes out to about 18 to 20 points, somewhere in that range. I'm not entirely sure. I always set the stop loss typically at $200 if I'm taking 2 to 3 MNQ. If I'm in 4, 5, 6 MNQ, the stop loss is usually about 250, maybe 300. So that first trade, if we go on Project X here, I entered at, what time was that? Entered at 9:34, so 4 minutes after the open. Where is our open here? Waited for that London retest, London 50 retest. We got it perfectly, had the stop loss in place at 200. We wicked down 25,488. Wasn't really all that close to the stop loss. And then we managed to catch a beautiful reversal. The target on this trade was the London high. I trailed the stop loss up as the trade goes up. And what I do with my stop losses is I like to trail them $100, $200 behind wherever the profit is. So if I'm up 400, I like to have the stop loss at either 200 if I want it to be a little looser, or 300 if I want it to be a little tighter. As soon as the trade got up to $100 profit, or 150 in this case because it was an opening trade, I moved the stop loss to break even, making it a risk-free trade. I did get wicked out a little early on it. Unfortunately, the full TP would have been $500. I ended up getting 303 profit out of it. The trade peaked at about 480 while I was in it. I trailed the stop loss up to 300 and I got stopped out at 300. The second trade that we had and what I was targeting was a retest of that previous day's 50. Going back over to the QQQ chart, and we'll go into replay mode here. There is our 9:45 candle. What I wanted was a retest back down. I do want to continue in the uptrend because 80% of the time when price is trending in one direction, it will continue to do so. Only 20% of the time it pivots. So what I wanted to do to rejoin that upside was wait for a retest down to previous day's 50. And then my target was pretty much just that equal high. And the reason that we were targeting the equal high is because going over to Edgeful yet again, we go to QQQ, we go to the initial bounce breakout, and we note the stats that say, going over to the buy rejection report on the initial bounce, we note the stats that say when the low or high is formed first, this is the outcome of the high or low being taken first. In this case, we formed the low first today. So we had a 82% chance of going and taking the high. That is why I was looking for a retest or a TP of that equal high. Going into replay mode yet again, let's see what that next candle did. And we had a perfect retest back down to that previous day's 50. I mean, this one could not have been any better. My entry was right there at previous day's 50. My TP was set to equal highs. As you can see, we did make a wick higher on this one, that being my new TP of the trade. The next candle, we had a beautiful continuation all the way up to that equal high. Now, unfortunately, I did trail a stop loss a little too close on this one, ended up getting stopped out at $50 profit. The trade ended up going another 50 points for $320 profit, I believe. It is what it is. I'm happier complaining about the profit that I could have made as opposed to being a little greedy, having the trade be up $200 and then being ticked out 200 in the red. Yet again, at 10:11, what I did was enter on a retest of that previous day's 50, as well as note that IB stat. Again, the IB stat, either the high or the low is formed first. You typically go and target the high or the low breakout. Yet again, we formed the low, so we're targeting the high with an 82% chance of going and breaking that high. Going down to the 5 minute, just to show it a little bit better, there's our retest at 10:10, 10:15, in that range. I entered, had a $200 stop loss on this. This one I did get very lucky with. The stop loss missed by half a point, 0.5 or 2 ticks, and then it ended up going and hitting the full TP. Yet again, I trailed the stop loss a little too quick, whether I got unlucky with the wicks that we were having today or I just trailed the stop loss a little too fast. The trade was up 200. I moved the stop loss to 100 green, ended up getting ticked out at 100 green before it ended up going and taking the full TP. That's just the trading strategy that I go about. I'm not too upset if I miss out on profit. I'd rather be missing profit than being red on the day. Those are the 3 trades I had today. Those are as simple as it gets. I mean, you do not get much more simple than that, just looking at previous day's 50 and London 50 for entries. Now, after we broke that initial bounce, we broke over previous day's 50, we broke London 50. Note what I added about the inside bar stat. We go over to Qs, we note the inside bar stat that we have a 74%, 73.8% chance of breaking the high or low of the previous day's range because we opened within that range. Obviously, today we did not quite get to that high, but we got pretty damn close. What this might indicate is that this is a draw or a level that we should kind of gravitate towards. Lining up with the initial bounce breakout as well, we typically have half to 1 full standard deviation move after the initial bounce is broken. We went up to half a standard deviation, couldn't quite get enough momentum to go up to 1, and then ended up kind of fizzling out for the rest of the day. I typically end my trading day after the initial bounce is broken simply because the half and 1 and 1.5 standard deviation moves, they don't happen all that often. We usually just go to half a standard deviation. Anything past that, you're just lucky, or there's news that comes out with it. They have very low statistics. After that initial bounce broke, I was happy with the day. We ended the day up. If we go to the stats here, ended the day up 453. Yesterday we had a phenomenal day. Day before that, about in line with what I usually do. Had a blow up day last Thursday. It happens. The goal of this account is to just buy 1 eval, get that eval passed, get a payout, use the payout from that eval to fund another 4 accounts, and then copy trade all 5 to get 5 payouts on all accounts. I'm going to try to get some more of these trade recap videos out. They're very simple to do. The trading concept is very simple. As you can see, we just had 3 beautiful, I mean, they were picture perfect trades that we had today off London 50, previous day's 50. Everything lined up. We had that inside bar stat we were looking at. We had the initial bar, our initial balance breakout. Beautiful trading day today. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a sub, drop a like. I'll try to get some more of these videos out, as I just said. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.